Hey there, everybody. Martial Apologist here again. Sorry it took me so long to get back. I had a little bout of shingles on my forehead here, which is still kind of left a little mark that I'm told may never go away. Yay. But yeah, what are you gonna do? Stuff happens. I'm gonna make a video today, tonight actually, I guess it's about 10 o'clock, about a particular issue that I have with Islam. I've got a few different issues with Islam. Most people who are not Muslim have issues with Islam. But in particular, it's the idea that the New Testament, either in part or in whole, depending on who you're asking, does not represent the teachings of Jesus. In Islam, as I understand it, the belief is Jesus was a Muslim prophet. He preached Islam. His followers also taught Islam. But the followers of his followers, or perhaps their followers, but in any case, very early on, abandoned everything that Jesus taught, and then, of course, went off with Pauline Christianity, which was a complete and utter corruption and perversion of everything that Jesus said. I have a lot of issues with this, not the least of which is it's completely and utterly ahistorical. There is nothing like evidence for it. In fact, I'm currently also engaged in a bit of a debate in a forum with an atheist. I think they're an atheist. Could be a deist. Either way. Which states that Pauline Christianity does not represent original Christianity. There is no true original Christianity. It was just a bunch of different ideas that different people had, and they're all equally valid and all that, which is poppycock in the highest. Not least of which is, of course, the creed Paul recites in 2nd Corinthians. 1st Corinthians? See, now I can't remember. I'm terrible with references, by the way. I'm never going to get any better at them. I've tried to get good at them, it just doesn't work. In any case, where it talks about the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus. This being the, just bare minimum mere Christianity that could be, which would be Pauline Christianity. They say, well, yeah, but Paul said that. That's nice, except if you go to all kinds of historians and textual critics and textual analysts and all the like, they will pretty much all agree that creed in Corinthians that Paul recites dates back very likely, Gary Habermas even will make the argument, and I'm pretty sure if you ask Bart Ehrman about the matter, he'd be like, yeah, it dates back to the early 1930s. I've not seen anybody think that it's any later than 51 AD, which is within 20 years of Jesus' life. Doesn't help you for saying it's not Pauline Christianity, but nevertheless, it is still extraordinarily early at 51 AD. Certainly well within the lifetimes of the apostles, who apparently never bothered to try and refute it. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, the most common date that I can find is they figure it dates between 35 and 37 AD in its origins. That's 2 to 4 years after Jesus. If you're a Christian, or literally anyone other than a Muslim, after Jesus died and perhaps was raised, if you're a Muslim, you believe that, of course, Jesus never died. I'm not sure what they think happened to him after that, but I have a remedy for all of that and more. This is my Kindle, on which I now own a copy of the Holy Qur'an or the translation into English by Yusuf Ali. It was recommended to me as the most popular translation of the Qur'an in the English language. Now, I understand that there will be some people who will not like that translation that are Muslims, and they will say, well, no, the problem is it's not translated correctly. I understand there will also be a matter of, if I get through the entirety of the Quran, that there will also be issues with the fact that, a lot of Islamic belief comes from the Hadith. Fair enough. I may get around to reading the Hadith, all of them. And I know that one Muslim over here will accept this Hadith and the other one will accept this, and they'll both deny one another's. There's nothing you can do about that. I'll just read them all, sooner or later. I read through the entirety of the Bible a couple of times. Well, at this point, probably a couple of times. Only one time really straight through. And I taught myself a bit of Koine Greek and had to learn a lot. A whole lot. I've spent probably more time listening to audiobooks and lectures on ancient Near Eastern mythology and religion and all sorts of things. I think I can manage to get through the Qur'an. And probably the Hadith. Eventually. We'll get there. But regardless, what I'm going to do with this copy of the Qur'an that I have here that I just disappeared on me real good is I'm going to presume that overwhelmingly the text is preserved and reflects accurately the teachings of Muhammad. I'm not going to I'm not going to assume that anything that I don't like in it was corrupted at all. And my challenge to any Muslims watching this video, to any Muslim friends of mine, is give the New Testament that same fair shake. If nothing else, understand that, for one, the text of the New Testament is extraordinarily well settled. It's extraordinarily well attested to. There are, of course, tens of thousands of variants in it, most of which are not even translatable. There are a few variants in it that we're not entirely sure exactly what it says, and there are 0 variants in the text that cast the slightest bit of doubt on any, probably in order of importance, top 20 Christian doctrines that exist in this world. Everything that exists otherwise is mostly a matter of interpretation of the same exact text. So, if you want to say that the text was corrupted, well, you're going to have to prove that. If you're going to say that none of the texts should bear witness to a dead, buried, and resurrected Jesus, onus is on you, man. You're going to have to make that case, and you're going to have to make the case without the Quran. If you want me to give you any sort of credit for that. I'm not going to treat your book like that. I don't expect you to treat mine like that. More to the point, even if you don't like certain parts of the Bible, as a matter of just teaching, I would suggest that you do what I'm doing. Read it for yourself. I'm going to come back from time to time, and I'll probably make update videos from time to time as to how far I'm going along with the Quran. It's not going to be fast. It's going to take a long time. That's fine. But yeah, that's the plan. By the way, I'm going to find out for myself, but I have heard that part of the Quran also does say that the words of a prophet of Allah can't be corrupted, and yet the text of the New Testament is said to be corrupted. Seems strange. I would like for Muslims, this is my challenge to Muslims, along with reading the New Testament, I would challenge you to treat the Quran like you would treat the Bible. At least, don't treat it like you would treat the Bible. Treat it with the same standards you would treat the Christian Bible. Yeah, if you expect one thing from one, you should expect it from the other. It just seems fair, doesn't it? And I'm reading it. So, and the New Testament is much shorter than the Quran. It's not even close. And in point of fact, if you want to read the New Testament and you want to get through it very quickly, you can just skip. You know what? I'll go ahead and I'll give you total leeway to skip 2 of the Gospels. Any 2 you want. Don't care which ones. And you can just completely ignore Revelation. The Revelation of John, just never mind it. Frankly, you're not going to get a lot out of it anyway. And frankly, most Christians don't. So yeah, let's do that. You skip 2 of the Gospels, that'll make it really short. And you skip Revelation, that thing's huge. Yeah, that should get it down to about a week and a half, a month, if you're pretty lazy. So, let's see if you can do that. Meanwhile, yeah, I'm going to read the Qur'an, and yeah, I'm just going to read it for myself, because you know what? A lot of people say the Qur'an says a lot of stuff, and I haven't really read it. And that's not fair for me to go judging it on stuff that I haven't seen. Anyway, have a good night.